Okay, so good day everyone. So for today, we're talking about the week one for our management. So under for the week one, we have the minimum manning and training requirements. So under this presentation, it discusses the international standards governing the minimum manning levels and training requirements for shipboard personnel like you, no? Syempre in the near future magiging seafarer kayo, and as prescribed by the major maritime convention. So this presentation focuses on how ships are required to be manned and how crew members are trained according to international maritime conventions. Manning is not just about having enough people on board, it's about having the right people with the right qualification to operate the ship safely. So training ensures that when emergencies happen, every crew member knows what to do, or just like real life situations that may face at sea. So under this course and learning outcomes, this presentation supports our course outcome and learning outcome. By end of this lesson, you should understand who must be on board a vessel or ship, what training they need, and how to prepare proper drill schedule. These are not just academic requirement, but actual responsibilities you will handle once you are already serving on board ship. So the importance of manning, minimum manning ensures that the safe operation of a vessel, effective emergency response, protection of marine environment, and compliance with the international law. So the minimum is important because ships operate 24 hours a day. If there's are not enough qualified crew members, fatigue increases, mistakes happen, and accidents may occur. Proper manning ensures safe navigation, emergency response, protection of life, and protection of marine environment. So for the International Maritime Framework, several international conventions regulates the manning and training includes the SOLAS, STCW, the MARPOL, MLC 2006, and the ISM code. Shipping is a international, so rules are also international. So different conventions work together to regulate safely training, pollution prevention, and crew welfare. So these conventions and crew welfare, the conventions guide ship owners, officers, and crew members to ensure that the uniform and standards worldwide are being used of all of the vessel. For the SOLAS Convention, the International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea sets a minimum safety standards for ships construction equipment and manning. So SOLAS stands for Safety of Life at Sea. It is one of the most important conventions in the shipping. It sets a minimum safety standards for ships, including the safety equipment and emergency procedures and manning. So most of the drills you are performed on board come from the SOLAS requirements. Kailangan po siya. Kaya bago sumampa yung mga seafarers, we are required to undergo those trainings because it is required once you got on board, dapat meron kang hawak na training na gano'n. Specific training for a specific vessel. Then we have the SOLAS Chapter 5. So the SOLAS Chapter 5, specifically, it addresses the safety of navigation and requires adequate manning for safe watchkeeping. So under the SOLAS Chapter 5 focuses on the safety of navigation, and it requires ship to be adequately manned so that proper lookout, watchkeeping, and navigation duties are maintained at all times. This is why the bridge watches are strictly regulated, and dapat merong proper rest. Every crew member or every officer that are being on the watch have enough rest kasi they're performing the navigation watch. And with the person who is not capable para sa watchkeeping, must have enough rest kasi you are not taking care about yourself, you're taking about the whole vessel itself. Then we have this STCW. So this STCW convention, it establishes the minimum standards for training, certification, watchkeeping of seafarers. So the STCW sets the standards for training, certification, and watchkeeping. It ensures that seafarers worldwide meet the minimum competency standards. Whenever you are rating or an officer, STCW determines what training and certificate you must hold. So si STCW siya yung nagdi-dictate for every crew members ano yung required na certificate na dapat na kailangan mong dalhin on board or dapat na meron ka or dapat na nag-undergo ka before you got on board ship. So, doon po nanggagaling yung requirements ni ah, ni company. Kunyari mo, si company sabihin sa'yo, "Ay sir, wala ka pa po kayong training na ganito kasi you are joining a vessel which requires that kind of certificates in which it is set by the STCW convention." Then pagdating naman sa STCW training standards, STCW requires seafarers to complete approved education, training, assessments, and certification appropriate to their shipboard duties. So, the STCW training standards under the STCW, seafarers must undergo approved training and assessment. So this includes the basic safety, the advanced firefighting, survival craft and training, and watchkeeping competence. Training ensures that theory is not supported only by practical skills. So, ibig sabihin, nag-undergo pa rin kayo ng training. It's not only about the practical skill itself. Then, pagdating naman sa ating certificates of competency, no, officers must hold a valid certificate of competency issued by the flag state, ensuring that they meet the professional and training standards. So, si officers must carry a valid certificate of competency issued by the flag state. These certificates prove that the officer is qualified to perform their duties. So, without a valid certificate, it means an officer cannot legally serve the vessel. Ganun po kahigpit pagdating sa competency ng isang officer, no? You must have a valid and authenticated by the flag state that ensures that you meet the standards of training of the STCW. Pagdating naman kay rating certifications, ratings are also must meet these STCW requirements, including the basic safety training and task-specific competencies. Ratings are also required to complete training. Even ordinary seamen must undergo basic training safety. Basic safety training rather. So ratings assigned to watchkeeping or emergency duties must be certified and assessed as a competent under the STCW. So even you are a ratings or officers, all of us must undergo trainings before we got on board. Ayun nga lang nagkakaroon ng differences pagdating sa vessel type, sa position at sa position nyo. Then pagdating sa ating MARPOL focuses on preventing pollution from ships and requires trained personnel to operate pollution prevention equipment. Bakit? Kasi MARPOL aims to prevent pollution from ships and it covers oil, garbage, sewage, air emissions, and chemicals. So si crew member must be trained before. Improper handling of waste pollution incidents can lead to a serious environmental damage and legal penalties. Kasi ang laki ng babayaran ni ship owners or the vessel itself kapag nagkaroon ng simpleng sabihin natin na oil leak, no, na nanggaling sa isang vessel. Then MARPOL training requirements. Ano ba yung nire-require pagdating sa MARPOL? So, crew members responsible for pollution. So, control must be familiar with garbage management, oil records, and emergency procedures. So, all of those dapat meron kayong record kasi pagdating sa garbage management, how can you prove that you properly segregated your garbage, kung paano nyo siya dinispose, kung paano nyo siya na commuted, ibig sabihin you have record. So kung wala kang record, ibig sabihin you cannot segregate or you did not manage your garbage properly kasi wala kang mapapakita na evidences. So with that garbage management, record book, ganun din sa waste disposal, sa oil disposal, no, oil record book and emergency procedures, without having those kind of evidences, you are not qualified for the MARPOL requirements. So the crew members must involve a pollution prevention, must understand the procedures like the oil spill response, the garbage segregation, and the record keeping of the oil. So this ensures the compliance and protects the ships from violations during the inspection. So again, we're going to be inspected by some of the uh, inspectors once we are in a port, no? Ayun yung mga chine-check nila. Then we have the Maritime Labor Convention of 2006. So decent working and living conditions require sufficient crew to prevent fatigue. Alam naman natin na we are the bread and butter of the vessel, so we are the one who is working on board. So dapat pinapangalagaan din yung ating health and yung patig natin. So MLC protects seafarers' welfare. It ensures the proper working hours, the rest hours, the accommodation itself, and the sufficient manning. So the goal is to prevent fatigue and ensure crew member well-being. Ayun yung ini-ensure lagi ni Maritime Labor Convention. So every time na magkaka-problem kayo regarding with your company or any forms of your labor, and sa tingin niyo nade-degrade na yung inyong, pagtatrabaho because of the too much fatigue, you can have or you can call the Maritime Labor, ah, Office, 'no, para malaman nila na the, ah, offices or that the company that you are working with is not, following the procedures in which the, Maritime Labor Convention are being passed, 'no. So gano'n lang ang gagawin niyo. Then pagdating naman sa fatigue management, adequate manning helps manning fatigue. So which is critical for maintaining safety and performance on board. Then fatigue is a minor cause of a maritime accident. No, adequate manning allows proper rest and prevents overworking from crew members. So fatigue management is both a safety and legal requirement on our vessel. Then we have the ISM code. Ano ba ibig sabihin ng ISM? So ISM, we have the International Safety Management Code. So the ISM code, it requires the companies to ensure vessels are manned with qualified and medically fit seafarers. So shipping companies, to ensure safety through the proper management, one requirement is ensuring that the ships are manned with competent. Pag sinabing competent, qualified, meet the standards, medically fit, and trained crew members. So ayun po yung, role ni ISM pagdating sa barko. Then the minimum safe manning document, the flag states issued a minimum safe manning document. Specify the minimum number and ranks of people of crew required on board. So this document is issued by the flag state, specify the minimum number of crew and their ranks. Sailing without the required manning stated in this document is a serious regulations. So ayun po yung, ginagawa ni, minimum safe manning document. Then the factors affecting the manning. Ano ba yung mga factors na yon? So manning levels depend on the ship type, size, automation level, and voyage duration, and the operational requirements. Meaning that the manning depends on the ship type, size, automation, trade route, and operational demands of the vessel. For example, a tanker, passenger ship, and a container vessel have a different manning requirements kasi they are very different, very far from each other kung ano yung operation on board, kung gaano kalaki yung isang vessel. Kaya they have different requirements on board ship. And ano naman yung role ni master pagdating dito? So si master is a responsible for ensuring that the vessel is adequately manned and that crew members are competent. So the masters is the ultimately responsible to ensure that the vessel is properly manned. Even if the company assigns crew, the master must ensure that everyone on board is competent to perform their duties. Kaya ganun na lang kagalit ni master kapag meron siyang crew member na nakikita niya na hindi qualified sa isang position kasi ang balik nun ay sa kanya kasi it means he allowed the crew member to perform the duties that he is not capable with. Kaya lahat ng sisi is na kay captain. So we cannot blame the captain once he is a pressured sometimes because of the role that the company given to us, but nonetheless that is the part of being a master. Kaya ka nga master eh. You are qualified and you know how to manage that kind of crew member on a vessel. Then we have the emergency preparedness. So proper manning and training enable effective response to emergencies such as the fire, collision, or abandoned ship scenarios. So pagdating dito, proper manning and training ensures that the emergencies are handled efficiently and each crew member has a specific role during emergencies as indicated in the master list. So si master list makikita niyo siya around the corner sa inyong vessel. So sa master list makikita niyo doon kung ano yung responsibilities niyo during the abandoned ship, during the fire, during the oil pollution, any kinds of the emergency response, merong responsibilities each crew member kung ano yung gagawin niyo. Hindi puwede yung pagdating niyo do'n, "Teka, ano yung sa'kin? Sige, tutulong ako diyan." Hindi puwede. Dapat aware kayo kung ano yung role niyo na dapat gawin once you have that kind of emergency on board. Kasi yung emergency hindi natin alam kung kailan darating 'yan. Pero ikaw, alam mo dapat kung ano yung gagawin mo pagdating ng emergency. Then we have the shipboard drills. So shipboard drills are practical exercises conducted to prepare crew members for the emergency situations. So once we got on board, sometimes we are forgetting the things that we've done on our training. Kaya nagkakaroon tayo ng emergency drills on board. Kasi alam naman natin na nagtatrabaho tayo on board, but sometimes those works is nakakalimutan natin ano yung mga inaral natin during our training sa land. But because of the drills conducted every month or every week on a vessel, nare-refresh tayo sa ating mga dapat gawin kapag meron tayong mga drills and exercises. Kaya kapag dating ng emergency response, we are aware kung ano yung gagawin natin. So the purpose of these drills is to familiarity with the emergency equipment, procedures, and individual responsibilities of the crew member. The crew is emergency. The drills familiarizes the crew with the emergency, alarm signals, escape routes, and procedures. And repetition builds confidence and coordination. Kasi syempre, di ba, if we are not exposed to a certain kind of drills, nawawala yung confidence natin how to perform those, ah, role kapag nagkaroon na tayo ng senaryo na ganyan. Kasi siyempre, for example 'no, kapag nagda-drive ka sometimes, matagal kang hindi nag-drive tapos kapag nag-drive ka ulit parang nawawala yung confidence mo kasi parang naninibago ka. So gano'n din during the drills 'no, nawawala yung tiwala mo sa sarili mo kasi na parang matagal ka na bago ulit makapag-practice ng gano'ng klaseng drill. So kaya nagkakaroon ng interval ah, during on board para magkaroon ng refreshment at maging familiar yung isang crew member. Then we have the SOLAS drill requirements. So the SOLAS mandates irregular fire drills, abandon ship drills, and emergency steering drills. So kayo, once you got on board, wag niyong sasabihin na, ano ba yan, lagi na lang pa-drill ng pa-drill. Hindi naman yan, ano eh, bakit parang lagi na lang may drill? Hindi po yan naisipan lang ng isang officer or ng captain na magpa-drill na lang bigla. Kasi hindi baka sabihin niyo, "Ay kung kailan naman walang tulog dun pa medril kung kailangan." Kasi it is a requirement and kung hindi ayan susundin ng isang captain or hindi niyo yu-utilize yang drill na yan, ibig sabihin you are not complying with the regulation of the STCW and the SOLAS Convention. Requirement yan sa isang vessel regardless of what you are operation doing, kailangan ma-perform niyo yung drill na yan. So, SOLAS mandates the fire drill, abandon ship, and the emergency steering drill. And such as fire, abandon ship, and emergency steering drills, these drills must follow the prescribed intervals. May interval naman yan eh. Kahit na sabihin natin na madalas, there must be a prescribed interval. For example, the fire drill must be conducted at least once every month to ensure the readiness in case of fire emergencies. So, the fire drills are conducted monthly. Crew members practice the fire equipment, mastering. Pag sinabing mastering, dapat alam nyo kung saan kayo pupunta. Pag sinabing mastering, parang nagtitipon-tipon kayo at aalamin kung sino yung crew member na nandun at alam kung saan yung responsibility ni crew member. Then you have the boundary cooling, communication. Fire is one of the most dangerous shipboard emergencies. No? Kaya madalas yan. So at least once a month daw. Then we have the abandoned ship drill. So the abandoned ship drill are required monthly and include lifeboat preparation and crew mastering. So abandoned ship drills ensures the crew member know how to prepare lifeboats, wear life jackets, master correctly, and these drills can save lives during the real abandoned ship situations. What about the emergency steering drills, 'no? 'Pag sinabing emergency steering drills, nagkaroon ng emergency sa steering niyo, nagkaroon ng steering failure, hindi gumana yung steering, hindi gumana yung, pinaka-steering wheel niyo. So, ang tendency gagamitin niyo is yung nasa engine side. So, emergency steering drills must be conducted at least once every 3 months. Emergency steering drills ensure that the steering can be controlled from alternative location if the bridge steering fails. Ibig sabihin yung steering nyo on board sa bridge is hindi gumagana, you will use the alternative form which is on the engine side. So these drills are conducted every 3 months. Then we have the MARPOL-related drills. So si MARPOL-related drills naman, train the crew to respond quickly to the oil spills or chemical leaks. So proper response reduces the environmental damage and legal consequences on board. Then we have the drill frequency summary. So si drill frequency summary naman, no, drills have a different intervals. Keeping the track of these intervals ensures that the full compliance with the international regulations. Kaya dapat merong talaga tayong record kasi doon pinapakita sa record na yon kung na-perform ba at kung kailang pinerform yung isang drill. Then, ano ba yung drill planning? So, a drill planning, it helps the ship land ahead and ensure no required drill is missed. Kasi baka mamaya drill ng drill, hindi naman required. So, dapat lahat ng required drill must be performed, and it also allows fair rotation of duties among crew members. Kasi again, once you got on board, you have a different role, different time na mangyayari. Especially when you are ratings. So, drill schedule content. So, the drill schedule includes the type of the drill, kung gaano kadalas, kung sino yung assigned members, participating crew, and kung ano yung naging remarks during the drill. So, it ensures the accountability of the person. Then we have the sample monthly drill. So, a monthly plan usually includes at least one fire drill and abandon ship drill combined if allowed, and other drills as required by the voyage or the ship type. No? Ayun yung allowed and required. Then nonetheless, yung other types of the drill, it is required by the company. Then what about the documentation of the drills? So all drills must be recorded in the ship's logbook and safety records. So proper documentation is required during the audits and the inspections of the vessel. Kaya mahalaga yung documentation. What about the evaluation of the drills? So after the drills, officers must be evaluate the crew members' performance. So weaknesses are identified and the corrective actions are taken to improve the readiness. Hindi para to blame someone or to cut the action of someone. It's just to correct someone para lang mapakita kung ano yung tama, no? Kasi hindi yun para pahiyain kayo kundi para ma-correct kung ano yung tama at ma-perform yung kung ano yung kailangan i-perform. Then we have the continuous improvement. Kasi kung hindi kayo mako-correct, kung hindi kayo magkakamali, walang improvement. So again, this safety is an ongoing process. So regular drills and evaluation improve the crew's ability to respond and to emergencies effectively. No, kaya kayo wag kayong maaano na, ay kasi ayaw lang niyo ngayon, ganito kasing gusto niyong gawin. Pero hindi, no? Performs the uh, it performs to the regulations, and it based on the regulation kung ano yung dapat gawin, and without kind of correction, hindi kayo matututo. So what is the role of the officers? So the officers are responsible for conducting the drills and supervising the crew members and ensuring that the procedures are followed correctly. And si crew naman, kailangan ng crew participation. So every crew member must actively participate. The drills are not optional and are essential for the safety. Hindi siya optional, but it is essential. Kailangan po siya. So pagdating naman sa compliance and audits, authorized check, manning, certificates, and drill records during the inspections and proper compliance avoid penalties and detentions of the vessel. Ano ba yung consequences kapag hindi kayo nag-comply pagdating sa mga trainings ng tinatawag? So failure to comply can lead to accidents, vessel detention, fines, and loss of employment and opportunities for you and for the vessel. Ano ba yung dapat nating i-practice? So we should practice that the drills are realistic, well-planned, and properly evaluated. And also good communication and leadership are essential. So in conclusion, no, pagdating dito, minimum manning and proper training are essential for maritime and safety regulatory compliance. So that is the end of presentation, and thank you for your attention. If you have questions, we can discuss it, and I can entertain your questions. And just to summarize, no, the topic that we have talking to, no, minimum manning and training ensures the safety, compliance, and the effectiveness on board. So drills prepare the crew for real emergencies. So these requirements are not just for passing the subjects. No, you will experience them on board, and your competence may one day save lives. No, for you, no, it is a just a reflection for you as a future seafarers. You must take training drills and seriously. Kaya sinasabi dapat it must be a real like situation kasi your readiness and determines your safety and safety of others, no? And again, thank you for your attention, and if you have a question or want to clarify something, feel free to ask me. Wait, so that is the end of our first week, and thank you very much for your listening.